We've got some top-of-the-line duty bipods from B&T, some peanut butter optics-ready goodness from Glock, and a quick-detach handguard from Strike Industries on this week's Gear Grind. As always, we're hitting on the most important 5 F's when it comes to today's gun gear: fit, feel, form, function, and features. And I'm gonna try and fail to get through it in about 5 minutes. Let's roll. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Atlas Bipods. Not sure if you know they come from B&T Industries. So let's take a look at a couple of their bipods meant for military and law enforcement use. Fit. Military bipods means Picatinny rail attachment. I have both the V8 and CAL bipods on the table, both available with a standard Picatinny mount as well as a QD Picatinny mount. Both bipods have 5 legs positions for however you want to load in or stow the legs when they're not in use. These are both Atlas bipods, which means the feet can be swapped out for a ton of aftermarket options, and very easily at that. Just push in the ball detent, pop out the old feet, get new ones in. Very slick overall. Feel. A lot of traditional bipods feel very clunky to me, and these bipods have far more modern designs and the right materials to make a lightweight but very sturdy bipod. I've talked about a couple different bipods here before, and I would say that these are certainly the highest quality I've handled so far, with the price tag to match. But we'll get into that a bit later. Bottom line is, these bipods were developed as professional grade, and it feels that way too. The knurling at the legs makes deploying and stowing very quick, providing a good grip without being too sharp. Form. As much as I feel the usefulness of these bipods far outstrip any aesthetic value, there's a simplicity and elegance here that's right on the money for looks. Matte anodized aluminum, shiny stainless steel hardware, the right amount of knurling in the right places, and smooth down in others. These kinds of bipods are right at home on a tactical or precision rifle. Less so on your grandpappy's bolt gun, but we're looking to maximize performance here, so let's talk about that. Function. So, both of these bipods have interchangeable Atlas feet, which gives you a huge variety of terrain you can adapt them for. But between these two models, what's actually different? Let's start with the V8 mounted on this rifle. I would view this as your all-rounder on the table, and it was selected for the SOCOM Mark 14 Mod 2 project. All to say, very much suitable for battlefield use on a designated marksman rifle, with a 30-degree preloaded pan and cant. On the other hand, you have the CAL, cant, and lock bipod. This is more so your precision rifle bipod, with very precise adjustments for cant and a locking mechanism that will keep you on target, plus a broader base to keep you stable. Both of these do their jobs very well, but the CAL is just a little bit more specialized for precision. These are lightweight, modular, and specialized for hard use, and any way you go, you're looking at a price tag north of $200, $300 with the QD, which isn't the most you can spend on a bipod, far from it, but I think it's justified if you're seriously putting a bipod through its paces. Whether as a duty application for law enforcement or military, or even higher end competition precision rifle shooting, I think this is money well spent for you. Moving on to the pistol world, I've got the Glock 19X MOS here, available with a non-threaded or threaded barrel. Fit. For those unfamiliar, the 19X is basically this: Glock 17 sized grip, Glock 19 barrel and slide. This means that most holsters made for Glock 19s, light bearing or no, are going to fit this particular gun perfectly, but you are going to have a longer full-sized grip. This means 2 things. In terms of aftermarket parts, the top end is all Glock 19 all day. For the grip, you are locked down to Glock 17 mags only, which isn't a bad thing. This is meant to be a high-capacity sidearm, not a concealed carry pistol. And that means 17 to 19 rounds in the factory mags that are included. As well, we do have a threaded barrel model as well as non-threaded, both equipped with Glock's MOS plate system and suppressor height sights for co-witness. When you're talking handguns, especially ones threaded for suppressors, having a little bit less length in the slide makes the whole package a little more manageable. It's about a ½ inch of difference between this barrel and a Glock 17, but as most guys will tell you so, that extra ½ inch is very important. Plus, with the full-size grip, this pistol eliminates my chief complaint with every Glock 19 I've ever held, which is that the grip is just a hair too short for me personally. This handgun, I'm getting a very solid purchase on the whole gun, plus some fat trimmed from the slide and barrel. Works for me. Form. The 19X has the distinction of being the peanut butter flavored Glock with a tan polymer frame and a tan DLC slide. This is a holdover from the 19X's bid for being the US Army's next official sidearm, which they lost to SIG's M17 and M18. So if you're into what could have been standard issue if the Army had made the correct decision, I think you'll like it. Otherwise, this is your standard Glock fare with the addition of a slightly more flared magwell and a lanyard loop, because we use those, right? By the way, if you want a 19X in black, it's pretty much just a Glock 45. You're welcome. Function. As you'd expect from Glock, you're getting pretty much unbeatable reliability here with a perfectly serviceable, if suboptimal, trigger. The MOS system remains a great option for most shooters, with included plates to fit most pistol optics on the market meant for full-size guns like this. Not as perfect as direct milling for a specific optic cut like the slimline MOS models have, but absolutely more flexible than those. For the threaded barrel model, you may want to tweak your recoil spring setup depending on your silencer or compensator, but probably not required with the right ammunition choice. Features. A lot of value packed into these guys. I think the two chief advantages are the reliability and aftermarket support. It's very easy to get Glock 17 mags. They're plentiful, they're cheap, and you get 3 mags with these pistols, a flush fit 17 rounder and 2 19 round extended mags. Obviously, the threaded barrel model gives you more options for silencers and compensators, but if you have a specific barrel in mind, the 19X does take Gen 5 Glock barrels as drop-in, so it's super easy to modify. And as always, it's a great platform, tons of options, cool full-size gun. Jumping back to the AR-15 world, I've got a unique handguard with a QD lever. Let's talk about the GRIDLOK Lite from Strike Industries. Fit. The GRIDLOK Lite works with your forged AR-15 upper receivers, including the Air Precision M4E1. Billet uppers, it depends primarily because of the anti-rotation features here, which do have threaded inserts for fine-tuning. Obviously, we have M-LOK running down the length of the handguard, shaved top end, and a Picatinny rail at the very end in order to accommodate lights, lasers, and backup sights. But the handguard does actually have a built-in backup sight. You really don't see that much these days. And the really cool feature is the QD lever, which instantly cinches the GRIDLOK over the barrel nut. You can adjust this lever using the screw at the side, ensuring you get a super tight fit on your rifle. And you can also get this length from lengths to 8 inches up to 17 depending on what your build needs. Interesting side note on fit, the first 3 inches on any given handguard in this line has more material removed from the center, accommodating suppressors up to 1.75 inches in diameter. So yes, you can actually bury a suppressor in here, at least a little bit. This handguard has a lot going on in its life, but I wouldn't say it feels bad. In fact, it's pretty good at first blush. It's a bit larger in the center than your typical slimline M-LOK handguard, just about a ½ inch in diameter wider. Doesn't ruin my day. The QD mechanisms at the rear are a bit chunky, which does make this handguard a little heavier overall than other options out there. But with the way that the top rail ramps up, you have a bit of built-in indexing when presenting the rifle. If you're C-clamping, I'd recommend a rubber rail covered simply because your hand is going to be very close to a hot gas tube. Form. Honestly, between the scooped front of this handguard, the rounded lightning holes in the M-LOK slots harkening back to the Keymod days, I really dig the design overall. Again, this is where Strike tends to shine, offering up these sort of futuristic designs at a really good price. The handguard is where a lot of the character of an AR comes into play, and there really isn't much on the market that looks like this handguard. It's really sleek, and you have a choice between matte black anodizing and bright red for a more vibrant design. Function. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. First of all, after getting everything set with the QD mechanism, the anti-rotation features, and a shim on the barrel nut, the GRIDLOK Lite is rock solid. I don't think there's many scenarios where this handguard will fail you. But why make it QD then? One answer is that it's very easy to use an adjustable gas block with this setup. Take the handguard off, dial in your settings, snap everything back into place, and forget about it. But I think the most compelling answer is the economics of your other accessories. Say you have a 5.56 rifle or pistol that you've set up really well, maybe a Surefire light up front, B&T bipod, vertical grip, rail covers where you want them, and so on. Now, you want to shoot 300 blackout or 9mm, but don't want to spend the $200, $300, $500 on everything you've attached to your handguard just to duplicate your favorite setup. But now you have a handguard you can swap between calibers, keep all your same ergos and functionality, and you can save some money. But now you have a handguard you can swap between calibers, keep all your same ergos and functionality, and you can save some money because you're not duplicating the most expensive accessories on the handguard. Not going to work for every use case, but if you're balling on a budget, it may be a compelling way to save some cash for ammunition. Features. The QD feature on the GRIDLOK light is definitely the big takeaway here. Between making maintenance on your gas system simple and potentially saving money on your best accessories, it's definitely innovative, just maybe not for everyone. Despite the suppressor compatibility at the front of the handguard, it's not going to be a great thing to pair with, say, a laser aiming module if you're going to swap calibers under night vision. But there is a niche here, and if that niche is where you reside, I think this is a great pick for you. I hope you found something useful here. I think last time I mentioned some AK accessories I wanted to check on. I'll make good on that promise in the next video. And as always, if there's a gun or upgrade you want me to go hands-on with, slap a comment down below. I'll give you my honest take on it in a future video.